Commission agenda meeting. Has everybody had a chance to read the previous minutes from July? Yes. Corrections? Any? If not, I'll take a motion to either approve or modify or any changes.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
I'm going to abstain. I was not at that meeting.
One abstain. Also, if you're here to speak from the public, we do have a sign-in sheet over there. There will be a spot for public comments, and you come up and state your name and address. And we'll try to answer any questions you may have. First item on the agenda is 24-141, rezone at State Road, North State Road 67 and Old State Road 67. Do I have somebody from, just state your name, address, and who you represent, please.
Just abbreviated.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Russell Brown. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Clark Quinn, address 320 North Meridian Street, Suite 1100 in Indianapolis. Represent the petitioner, Racetrack, who has two matters before you tonight. Has a request for a rezoning as well as a plat for this parcel. With me tonight also is Zach Sen from Racetrack. The request, so on the first page I provided to you is just kind of an overview of where we're at. This is for the southeast corner of 67 and Old State Road 67. The parcel is approximately 15.339 acres in size, and our request would plat it into two lots. One on the hard corner, which would be about 5.95 acres. The request for that tonight is the rezoning request to B3 from current B2 zoning. The balance would be 9.39 acres, which would be retained by the seller. The platting request is relatively straightforward. Takes that 15 acres, plats it into two lots. The seller would retain the southern portion of that for additional commercial development at this gateway of your community. The plat that's before you is the fourth page of the documents that I provided to you. Shows that it differs in one way from what was filed. We've removed the dedicated electrical easement through the middle of the property. That is there, but is not a dedicated easement by deed, and so we would request your consideration to remove that at the plat as platting moves forward. The second part of our request is a rezone for this new lot, Lot A, from B2 to B3. The rezoning would allow for Racetrack to develop the first raceway location in the Indianapolis metropolitan area. I'll give you a brief overview of who Racetrack is, given that they are relatively new to the market still. Racetrack is headquartered in Atlanta, have more than 550 Racetrack stores throughout the southeast and moving up here into the Midwest. In 2020, Racetrack began expansion into Kentucky and Indiana. They have two different kind of store models. One is a Racetrack, which is a corporately owned and operated store, larger footprint, larger diesel canopy than what's proposed here. There's two open in the Indianapolis metropolitan area, including one kind of in my neighborhood at the northeast side, on the northeast side of Indianapolis. Raceway, which is what's proposed for this location, is a smaller footprint. It is corporately owned, but it is locally operated. The site plan is the second page of the materials before you tonight. This shows what's proposed here, which is an auto and a diesel canopy, and approximately a 3,500 square foot store. The third page shows some proposed elevations of what the prototypical raceway would look like. The provision of dedicated diesel canopy is a distinguishing characteristic of Racetrack or raceways from many of their smaller footprint competitors. This site's plan does allow for an dedicated entrance and exit for that diesel canopy. That's convenient for diesel users, but it's also, we believe, safer for passenger vehicles who are accessing the auto canopy. Racetrack, as an operator, their diesel canopies are generally utilized by local and regional drivers. Don't have a significant fleet part of their business, so even the larger footprint stores, we're not operating to provide for fleet service versus, someone like a Love's or Pilot or those larger footprint stores that have a lot of fleet operations. We also see a lot of local box trucks, landscape contractors, or smaller construction traffic. And in this location, we believe it would be attractive for recreational vehicle traffic utilizing State Road 67 to head to those uses to the south. So there are diesel pumps here, but this is by no means a truck stop or anything of that nature. The petitioner believes that raceway development will unlock commercial development on the balance of the retained site by bringing utilities, public utilities across 67 or Old State Road 67, and then will allow for future development in conformance with your comp plan and your future growth plans. We so obviously are somewhat preliminary development here, so we'll work through how utilities will get here, where drainage facilities will specifically be located, but Racetrack is excited to be part of this part of the city, of the Indianapolis community. We appreciate the help and guidance that Tim's provided, even though he decided he'd rather go to the zoo tonight with his grandkids than be here. But we appreciate he's been enthusiastic and helpful since we first met with him over the summer about this project. So with that, we would request your approval of the plat as presented tonight and for a favorable recommendation for the rezoning from B2 to B3 to allow the development with auto service center and associated retail uses. I'm happy to answer any questions that the commission has, listen to public comment, and try to address those as they come along. So thank you.
You did state that this would not be like a truck stop, like overnight.
Correct. Yeah. There's only three fueling stations or fueling locations for diesel. There's no dedicated truck parking. So most likely the way it would operate is someone would, fill up. If they had a larger vehicle, they would fill up and then pull out, go access the convenience store, and then exit the site. So it wouldn't be on site. There's no dedicated truck parking at this location.
To be clear, though, it would be operating 24 hours a day, though, right?
Yes, correct. Yes.
There's no like showers, laundry facility. There's nothing like that. It's just really a convenience store with just a little diesel canopy.
19 pumps, is that right? Is that one?
So yeah, 16. What do we call auto? Eight islands, double-sided, and then the 3 fueling locations for diesel. And both of those would have canopies as well.
Since this is an application for 2 processes, one the rezone and one the plat, if we did a vote tonight, would you want the plat to be conditioned on the rezone?
Yes, please.
So you would bring a plat in for signature after the town council meets for the, okay, just clarifying.
Thank you.
Do I have any other questions, concerns? Do I have any public comments?
Tamara Hartley, I live at 182 Center Drive, which is at Brookmore Addition here in Mooresville. I probably have a lot of questions, but I'm just now hearing of this. I didn't get the public notice. I live a little further in the addition. I think one thing is the traffic out there, knowing we just got a new Old Dominion warehouse out there, that's going to bring a lot more traffic. We have a new stoplight, so I'm concerned about the traffic. How is our safety for the town going to be able to control that much more space out there? Even today, people running that red light, semis. So if we want to promote that diesel station, even though it's just 3 pumps, that brings a lot more semi-traffic, big trucks, not stopping at the lights. It's a neighborhood, school buses, Mooresville school system. That's one big concern I have. And then that future plot, who's to say it couldn't expand further into racetrack for that to grow even more, to be considered a truck stop? And is this the best site for it? Are there other places in Morgan County that would be a little bit more accessible and meet the needs of the diesel truck? And truly, I thought that there was a diesel canopy just a couple more miles down the road in Centerton. So that's just the first things that pop into my mind. Of course, I have a million others. I want the town to grow, but then if we add on to the sewer system, we add on to the water system, and the infrastructure has to change, there's no guarantee that's not going to impact the citizens out there. And we're considered in town, but we don't have a lot of perks about town. So just having more out there for police to have to call to runs or to be out there and watch all that extra traffic, I just have a lot of concerns about that.
My name's Doug, this is my wife Lucy Kirkendall. We're in 10045 Old State Road 67. The driveways are gonna be, my house is right there, right in between there. And the main thing is, are they gonna widen that road? Are they gonna do anything to keep the headlights from them coming in and out of their driveway from going to my house?
The traffic and the trucks.
Yeah.
I agree with
I mean,
her.
that road is already busy and
Dangerous.
dangerous already. I mean, that's gotta be addressed. And are they bringing sewer that close? Because we were on septic out there. When they put Packmore in, they didn't bring us in on the city sewage thing.
Changed our drainage.
And changed our drainage. When they dig that big old berm down that hill, they ruined everybody's septic systems down that whole line,
David Lane.
David Lane. So what, any plans on that? And the noise, what about the noise? We were told we would never see Packmore, we would never hear Packmore, and it's ridiculous.
Also, lighting in their parking lots. Is that gonna be big bright lights? Is it gonna shine into my house all night long? We're just concerned about the traffic.
They'll have to follow
mostly.
our UDO, for lighting and all traffic, and, I mean, everything's controlled, I mean, it's not, like the lighting, can't be certain bright age, I mean, there's a lot that goes into play, and I understand your concern with traffic. With all, I mean, unfortunately, all this is set to be industrial, all that area is what it's been for 20, 30 years. I've been trying to bring it in,
Are they
so-
trying to rezone that whole area as commercial?
Not yet. I mean, this is just part of that corner. In the future, I don't know if another developer, but I mean, the traffic is always a concern, I mean, luckily there is a stoplight now, and there will be two exits.
I know my driveway's
So-
right in the middle of it.
From what we can tell on this
Right.
drawing.
Yeah, I didn't think there's houses.
We are the only house that's kind of like out on the corner between David Lane and Packmore. It's not Packmore anymore.
Beckmore Road.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry. Does the town or the industry part of it, as part of that rezoning, are there regular traffic studies that are done? I mean, I know there probably has to be, because that's why there's a light in there, but that's on the highway. So like the roads that lead there, like Merriman, people cutting through them, that's gonna increase that. That road's not wide. There's no sidewalks in that 5-street addition of Brookmore. We've just got storm, ditches. We don't even have closed drains. So when all of that building starts happening on both sides, that's really gonna change the structure of our neighborhood to where if eventually it's gonna be industrial, then, I mean, so be it, make it all industrial and buy all of our houses so that we're not stuck in the middle of an industrial park where then we're stuck trying to figure out drainage issues and all of that. We're considered town, we're on the town sewer, but every time somebody comes in and they change that infrastructure, that changes the cost for me. And Hill Water, the same thing. When they change that infrastructure, that affects my bill. So,
Do I have any more questions, comments from the board? How about nobody? Yes, please.
So the question about how do you guarantee this isn't expanding beyond the 5 acres we're talking about tonight? Obviously, we're rezoning because it's not permitted by right on the B2 zone property. So if there were an expansion, modification, we would have to come back here. It'd be a public hearing process to go through to expand that footprint. Racetrack as a corporate decision utilizes dark sky compliant lighting. So dark sky compliant lighting is downward shielded. The intention is that there is no light spillage, not to your allowable foot candles at the property line, but there is no light spillage off-site. That's their corporate policy, whether your ordinance requires it or not. That's their corporate policy, and that's how they construct those sites. I will give folks who live across the street my contact info, and we can have a discussion about is there on-site landscaping that we could help ameliorate some of those lights coming in and out. That's a tool I've used for other clients in other locations, and it doesn't solve all the problems. I'm not going to stand up here and say it solves everything, but it does help with some of those things. So I'll make sure that they have that contact info so we can have that discussion going forward. So, I'll let Zach say.
We've already submitted our traffic study to NDOT and the city, and it was approved, so we will have to do some lighting along Old State Route 67, some decel lanes, so will be some lighting that we will have to take to do, so.
was the traffic study for those side roads coming out of that or just the highway?
That scope is determined by NDOT and by local requirements, so my presumption is it is what's coming into the site, where it would be coming into the site. The majority of the traffic would be coming off of 67 to the site and then back to 67. That would be the majority of it, or it would be drive-by traffic already there. So that's how this traffic study would be done. You do a count on what's on 67, what's there, what anticipated drive-by is. So it would not go, into neighborhood streets or any of those locations.
And again, I think a lot of this traffic study too, Old Dominion played a big factor into that, so it's, there's been probably several done up there with them alone, so I'm sure it's been addressed and been looked into.
If I'm not mistaken, at the end of last year, earlier this year, when the town as a whole completed its new comprehensive plan, there was an in-depth traffic study done as part of that in the areas of town that needed to be addressed and the areas of town that were adequate for the next 5 to 10 years until we were further down the road. And I believe with this area being developed in the way that it is starting to be developed, there was nothing mentioned that, additional roads, sidewalks, lights would be needed in that area, if I'm correct in my statement. But I know that the traffic study was part of that recent comprehensive plan.
Again, what happens too is the board will make either a favorable or non-favorable or no recommendation, and it'll be brought to the town council the first Tuesday of the month, next month. Is that the 30th, 31st? It's the first Tuesday of next month, so we just make a recommendation and it goes in front of the council for the final recommendation. So you guys are more welcome to come back and voice your concerns in too.
Is that a hearing where the public can speak as well?
Yeah. Yes, should be. We haven't had one for a while, but I don't think, can the public speak in that one?
I'm sorry, say that again?
In that council one? I don't remember if the public has. I don't think,
Yeah, the
thanks.
public hearing requirement is only in front of the plan commission, so what you hear today, they will submit a recommendation to the council, and then based on that recommendation, the council will decide. There's no requirement that the council hold a public hearing in regards to the rezone, but depending on council procedures, they may take public comment at the beginning or end of the meeting, so there could potentially be an opportunity for public comment about anything, so you can speak on this if you would like.
Our public comments are always at the end, but we do watch these videos, so they will hear your concerns. So you're asking, come on up. Just state your name and address.
I'm Mike Rickleman. I live at 116 Allen Drive. On your GPS, say they headed down South 67, they miss that corner, their GPS is gonna run them right through our neighborhood because that one street goes all the way through. How many semis are gonna start cutting through? Because it's a small little bitty road. And you know that it's gonna pop up on their GPS, that is the next road they can cut through to get to this truck stop.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's, people hasn't thought about it.
Hopefully,
And then when you
they
come in,
update the GPS,
when
I
you
don't
come
know.
from south, Old 67 runs all the way through. That road's not built for them big semis to come through neither. How many's gonna cut through there?
That's something I mean, it's a good point, there's nothing I can,
But
No
we're gonna be the
answer.
ones to have to deal with it with our kids.
hopefully they, I mean, there's no right or wrong, you know,
There's-
one GPS can take you somewhere and this one can take you somewhere
The
else.
town
so-
already put up signs, and you can go down there and look, cause they've been there for a few years now. No semis in that area, not even box trucks,
They probably still go down there.
but nothing's been done. You
And that's-
put this in, they heading south, they miss that exit to turn in there. That's gonna cut them right through that neighborhood where all them kids are. And them streets ain't even, it's barely wide enough for two cars, let alone a semi and a car.
Do you normally get much traffic, semi-traffic at your other stations?
Yeah, semi-trucks are not our main traffic. It's mostly box trucks, landscape trucks. Semi occasionally come through, but it's not our main target audience.
But there's, how many trucks running up that highway? You just built two warehouses. They're gonna be going in and out with semis.
Well, to be clear, Old Dominion, she spoke of Old Dominion earlier, they have their own fuel depot there, so they won't be utilizing racetrack or
And
raceway
they
for
say
that.
there's not a fuel depot. You go down the road to Centerton, there is a place to get
No,
diesel.
I mean,
right
Old
there.
Dominion has their own, on site.
But it's stated in the paperwork that there's none around. Centerton has a depot where you can get diesel, and it's only 3 mile farther south.
I have no idea.
And that's a paperwork that was handed out to the people that live in our neighborhood.
Yeah, I can't speak to that, I have no idea.
I don't know what the radius is, I don't know, you know what I mean, I don't know what they go off of on that. Thank you. So to clear this up, you're asking for, because I only got one rezone on here.
The application is for the rezone and the primary plat, they're both marked up here at the top. That's why I was clarifying that he would get signatures on the plat if and when the town council,
So do we
Would
need two
approve a
motions
rezone.
for that, or we?
Yeah, so you're gonna need a motion to approve or deny the primary plat, and you would likely want to make that contingent on approval of the rezone by the council. So that will be a separate vote, and then you'll need a separate vote to either do a favorable, unfavorable, or no recommendation to the council.
So I'll either take, first we'll start with the primary plat. Oh, is there anybody else, one from the public like to speak? No? That said, I'll close the public comments. Any other comments from the, questions from the board? That said, first we'll take on a primary plat, a continuance approval, a rezone, continuous, right? Is that what you said?
Approval contingent on.
Contingent of the.
Approval of the rezone by the.
Approval of rezone from the council, correct, okay. With that, I'll take a motion favorable or non-favorable,
This is just approval.
approval or non-approval.
I make a motion that we approve the plat contingent on a favorable passing recommendation by the town council.
I would second that.
I have a first and I have a second. All all in favor? Aye. Passes. Second would be the 24-141 rezone. That would be a favorable or non-favorable or no recommendation at all. Motion to approve the rezone. Do I have a motion for any of those?
I'll make a motion to approve it, the rezone.
I have a motion for approval for the rezone.
You need a favorable or
Or favorable or unfavorable?
recommendation.
Favorable.
Have a favorable.
Second.
Have a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
The rezone will go before the first town council in January.
7th, I think, right?
No, it's the first town council in January, because it will miss the one next week.
Oh, yeah. Is that the 7th? Is that the 7th?
First
Yeah.
Tuesday.
The first Tuesday of January, and then after that meeting, you can bring in a plat anytime to the clerk treasurer's office for me to bring before the board to sign. If everything.
All right, next item on the agenda. Uh, 24-142 primary plat at Town Center. I believe it's Holloway, correct?
Yes. Thank you. Been a while since I've been here. John Larison usually is here. Nice to see you all again. Ross Holloway, Holloway Engineering, 100 Professional Court here in Mooresville, just up the street here. I have a handout for you.
You need all these things? You need one? Clear on this too.
This is a pretty straightforward request. Back in 2014, actually it goes prior to that, back in the 90s when Marsh was here and we were developing all of Town Center out there, the Hopkins had one large lot there where behind the south of the Ford dealership and the strip of shops there and bank along Bridge Street. So they divided it up in 2014 into 7 lots, and now basically we're requesting that it be put back together in one large lot, approximately 12 acres, 11.97 acres. And the plan is that in January, we would come back and ask for a rezone of the 11 acres together with the approximately 4 acres that was the old lost name in. And the reason we have to do this is because we have to do a rezone on both parcels. Currently, the 6 lots that we're asking to be put together into one large lot is zone PUD commercial. And we would like to rezone that to PUD mixed use, along with changing the zoning on the Lost Inn parcel to allow for mixed use also. The mixed use we're contemplating would be a combination of light commercial, that would be a restaurant and things like that, maybe some professional offices, along with not assisted living, but some senior apartments, some townhome type individual homes and things like that for the whole area. So tonight, our request is simple. Primary plat approval for the plat that you have before you of approximately 11.97 acres, and I would be open to any questions you might have.
So you're basically just trying to change the lot lines?
Actually, we're eliminating all the lots except the one where the inn is, the hotel is. And it's been 10 years and nothing's happened there. And believe me, Arvin's tried his best to sell something in there, and it just doesn't work. So we've got a group of individuals, two of which are here tonight, have come forward with this proposal. Arvin and Mary have agreed to it. But to make it happen, it needs to be put back together as one large parcel, and then we'll see you in January.
Any questions, concerns?
This here says 11.397, is that what you're talking about?
Excuse me?
That says 11.397?
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
There's a part of a street that stubs out through there that's been dedicated to the town. We've eliminated all the others, so it gives them more flexibility for the internal and the layout and some things like that of the development they're proposing to come back with in January.
I know you're not I mean, I know this is not you're not rezoning, like, but we're not talking like, my question is like Section 8 housing or nothing?
Oh, no. No Section 8, none. It'll be market rate is what they're contemplating, so.
Any questions, concerns? And with that, thank you. I'll take any public comments. Again, state your name and address. No comments?
It would be mixed use. There would be some light commercial, sort of like you see along Bridge Street now, no filling stations or anything. There would be maybe a restaurant and some professional offices, maybe a floral shop and some things like that, very light. And then the rest of it will be residential, either owner-occupied townhomes with a mix of some apartments for seniors and some things like that, but no Section 8 housing or anything like that. It'll all be market rate.
I just have a question about the Section 8 housing. Is there a reason that question was asked about Section 8 housing? Just curious. I don't attend these meetings very often.
Do you know what Section 8 is?
Yes, I do.
Okay, just,
I know what it is. So I'm just asking, is there a reason why that would be affordable housing or Section 8 housing wouldn't be something that would be?
I'm not saying it's something that no way would ever
Just curious why the
consider,
question was asked.
because I feel I'm only one person, but I feel like in the town of Mooresville, that's all we have. We don't have high-end apartments. We don't have, I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'd like to see more of a mixed
Affordable
use.
housing.
Affordable housing, yes.
Okay. And you don't want a gas station on that lot? You
We've
sure?
already got one right there.
I know where you can get you some diesel pump.
I might address that quickly. When we come back in January, you're going to see a higher density than the Plan Commission is used to, and that is to keep the units affordable. Now, basically the townhomes and some things like that, because today's cost to do anything, and you have to have the density. And it's a PUD, so it'll be some give and take, but that's what we plan on doing. So that answers her cost about affordability, is some increased density.
Thank you. Any comments from the public? No? Okay, I'll close the public comments. Any other questions or concerns from the board? That, I will take a motion, this would be favorable, well, this is just approve, yeah. I take a motion to approve or to deny 24-142 primary plat at Town Center.
Make a motion to approve. Anything beyond that, he has to come back before us anyway.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
And everybody else, they will have to come back, like you said, next month to rezone. Do we have any new or unfinished business? Probably not too much, because we haven't met since July.
We have already had our first application for 2025, so we will meet in January.
Starting off good. Do we have any number of building inspections?
We do not. Tim is not in today, and I was tied up and didn't get a chance to ask him.
All right.
He wasn't here tonight, and I didn't get a chance to ask him.
With that said, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
A motion, have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
You retired. He's still around. You retired.
Yep.
Do you have any other questions?
Thank goodness you're not.
If you see him, right.
I told him I will.
Yeah, that's all I've been telling people. I got a lot of phone calls.
You handled it well.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Josh Crew, call me if you have any questions about that murder stuff.
Oh, yeah. See you next Tuesday.
Dave, how's it going? Good. I haven't seen you since the final.
Today's the 12th, right?
Did you go to the game? Was you there?
I don't know what I got going.
It was rough, wasn't it? Yeah, you can't win and score one run. Listen, the last two outings he had, he was struggling. And so he was just, he was, I think he was gimped
Thanks,
up. I think
Dave.
he had a leg thing.
Thanks, Dave.
Gimped up. He was leaving everything up anyway. He did that the last time. He was leaving everything up. And so, it was what it is. Yeah, it was cool. I mean, because my son Ryan was behind the plate most of the game. So, I was happy that they played well and it was clean.
All the, are these all the neighbors?
Yeah, so,
I think, yes.
Yeah. I had phone calls, but thought somebody would talk today. I had more questions on the gas station than you guys. And I didn't have any phone calls on the gas station, but I had phone calls on you guys.
Yeah,
I'm done now. I retired from Tilton Gas.
I told everybody that Mooresville High School has been open since the mid-40s.
so usually like the planner or something.
Well, if they can get the good draw, get Huddy dialed in, there's not a lot of teams that can beat him. It is what it is. I mean, it was fun. But now both my boys playing college ball. So Jack, my oldest, he moved on to four-year school from JUCO, and then Ryan's at JUCO now. Yep.
10 years I've been saying we've never.
Enjoy them while you can.
I mean, not even with Beth or Ashley have they
Yeah.
brought that up.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let me talk to them and Jewel, and maybe we can get on a call.
Yeah.
What the heck was that so crazy? Like,
I was over there on Thanksgiving.
Signed, sealed, and delivered.
I didn't know we were gonna have to do all that.
Yeah, they're all good. They're always gone. I know, he's going to the airport to get that, you pay $80 and you walk through the TSA.
Right.
So I didn't know you could.
Back in August, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you wanna